Hey, I just bought something.
What did you buy?
I'm not telling you.
Can you guess what Jenny just bought? 5 most commonly questions about WeChat. So Victoria, what exactly is WeChat Pay?
So WeChat Pay is basically an integrated payment processing within the WeChat app. So in China, they essentially made the wallet obsolete. All they have to do is bring their cell phones with them, and many retail shops, restaurants,
Beep.
all they do is show you this little thing with the QR code. You scan it, goes beep, and then within a couple seconds, you have just made the purchase.
So it's kind of like Apple Pay and like kind of PayPal,
Exactly.
but even more convenient.
It's exactly like Apple Pay, except it's integrated within the WeChat app. So because WeChat app is so multifunctional, everyone's on it already, it makes it even extra convenient.
And is it just for small purchase or also big purchase as well?
You know what? Even the street vendors accept WeChat Pay.
Like you mean like street food, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
breakfast,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Barbecue
Yes.
skills.
Even they accept WeChat
That's
Pay now.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. What about in terms of the official account? I know there are 2 different types of WeChat accounts. How does that work?
So there are 2 types of official accounts. One is the subscription account,
Subscription account, okay?
and the other type is the service account.
Okay.
So they're different, and without getting into too technical, the subscription account is if you want to do more of a content type of marketing as a business.
Okay.
So you're expected to pump out content regularly to keep your audience engaged, right? Now the only downside is with a subscription account, your account sits within a separate folder. So when the user opens up their WeChat,
They see all the friends stuff.
they see their friend stuff first, and then your account is within a folder. So if they don't ever open that folder, they might never see your content.
Do they get some kind of notification if you upload something new, or they have to click on the folder?
The folder itself would have a notification, but then they wouldn't know specifically from which subscription account it's from.
Got it.
So that's the one downside.
Okay.
Now with the service account, your account will sit within your friends list group. So your friends has a chat list, right? Your business account would also sit within that list. So there's no extra click to go into a separate folder to see it, right? Now the only limitation to that is there are less opportunities to post. So there's a limitation as to how many times you can post
What's
content.
the max if it's a service account?
Yeah, currently it's about like 4 times.
Okay.
So
4 times a
month.
A month. Okay.
Yeah.
So once a week.
Yeah, so basically once a week, because they do want to control spam is really their goal.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. But if it's a subscription account, then they can post every day. It's okay.
That's definitely a lot more freedom to post more allowance. And also with the service account, you can do more customization. So maybe you can build a campaign based on an HTML5 game. So a more interactive game, maybe during Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year, yeah.
That's popular, and it allows for more customization for your audience.
And can anyone or international company outside of China sign up for one of those 2 accounts, or do they have to have? Because I know it's not that easy. So what's the procedure?
Right. So for business to want to have
Yeah.
a business account on WeChat, they would have to have registered in China. They would have to have a bank account.
So they have to have a kind of China ID,
Exactly.
and they have to have a China bank account because it integrates with WeChat, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Payment process.
Yeah. So once a company has those things in place, then for what we do, we then can help a business set all those things up, set them up with either a service account or a subscription account based on their company needs and their vision and their goals.
Yeah, so it's not as simple as like kind of if you set up a Google account, anyone can go and log in, type in an email and username. It's not like that. It's a more complex process, right?
Yes, and there's pros and cons to that, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to create a Facebook company page or a LinkedIn company
Yeah,
page,
yeah.
anyone can go and create that. And
Yeah.
it's really hard to verify the authenticity
Correct.
of these businesses.
Correct.
And also, those platforms count those pages as like the legit account.
Real user and stuff like that.
Exactly. So when they say, oh, we have this and this many million number of users and this many accounts, like how authentic is that number, right?
Yeah.
So WeChat really wanted to eliminate those fake accounts.
Yeah.
So they've taken an extra step to make it a little bit harder for businesses to do that, but at the same time, the users can feel more comfortable using and trusting some of the content because they know that they have to go through this process.
So in a way, we are talking about 900 million users. We're talking a big percentage of that are real users, like real people, real accounts. right?
Yeah, well, there's really no real way to avoid people creating fake accounts.
Correct.
Like with any kind of technology
100%,
platform,
just like Facebook, yeah.
people that want to create something fake, they will find a way, right?
Yeah.
But at the very least, they have taken measures to eliminate that. Whereas if you take it any other platforms, they haven't really been able to do that. So that's one bonus of being on WeChat.
And once a company, let's say an international company, sets up the official account and they have subscription, how do they get subscribers? And how do they, like, what would be the best way for them to communicate and kind of send them messages and post from time to time?
So there are different ways. There's something called a KOL, which is like key opinion leaders.
Okay.
So in China, it's very popular to like get a celebrity
Kind of
or
influencers, right?
influencers,
Yeah.
basically. And there are different rankings to KOLs, right? You have your A-listers, which is the most popular people in China, and of course they would be very expensive.
Millions of followers.
Hundreds of millions of followers, right? But then you have something similar to what we have, like the YouTubers that are kind of
Kind of like a B.
like a BC level.
Yeah, okay.
They have good traction. They have their own niche following, and they are very popular in terms of getting the eyeballs and getting engagement. So a lot of companies like to use somebody who's popular in that moment. It could be somebody who just came out with a new song, and that person's not even a real singer or artist, but they just kind of gone viral, right? Or maybe somebody who looks like an artist, right? They might do something like that,
okay.
and to kind of gain some traction, basically, right? Get some popularity out of that.
Okay, and then once they have the subscribers, they could grow that, and if they post good content out there, a lot of these posts we also see, right, where they have maybe a long article, could be they embedded a video or some kind of photo, and they get people to share. People like to share on WeChat. If the post is good, they go, hey, check this out. I get that from people all the time too.
Yeah,
right?
my mom and dad, that's the
Yeah,
whole
they
time.
just share, they see something, it's one form for them to distribute, right?
Definitely.
Interesting. What about, what do you think is the number one challenge when it comes to marketing on WeChat?
So a lot of foreign companies or Western companies that want to get into WeChat, they have to understand the Chinese business culture and etiquette.
Yeah.
That's very important. And if you had watched any of our old videos, one of the videos we talked about business etiquette in China and the culture, there's a huge difference between like Cantonese and Mandarin.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, the company needs to have that kind of understanding.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't necessarily want to use something like Google Translate. Those things are not going to work.
Sometimes when we work with a company, then we see what they do, just take the English content and translate into Chinese using Google Translate, and they just blast it to their
and that's
list,
just
right?
throwing a grenade.
It's just
into
it's so
Yes.
bad.
Yeah.
It hurts the credibility so much.
Exactly.
And people look at that as like you're not even taking the time to. I think so. The language barrier could be an issue.
Yes.
So someone has to create that content and verify it and make sure it's accurate and represents the brand
Exactly.
before they send it out. And also we have to work with them in terms of the strategy, what they're actually trying to do. Right? I know when we work with developers, that it's not just how do we showcase a property, how do we showcase a home, what are we trying to do. It's not just one post, but it's a sequence. It's more like a launch, a campaign that what we do, right?
Yeah.
So from there, when we work with people, what's been your experience? What's the first thing and second thing that we kind of first do to kind of help them with WeChat marketing?
So when you visit a business account, people can look back at the last 10 posts that you've created.
Yes.
So when you start a business account, the first thing you need to have prepared already is 10 pieces of content.
Yeah, not just one piece.
Not just one, because they're going to know that you're kind of new.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the other difference between a WeChat platform is that, on Facebook, you can see how many followers a business page might have, right? And that may or may compel you to follow, right? Some people might go, oh, this business has millions of followers. Must be good stuff. Let me just like it anyways,
Yes.
right? Now, WeChat has blocked that. So
You don't know how many
you have
followers
no
and
clue how many followers are
how
on that
popular
page.
it is.
So you're really trusting the content to do the work for you. It's got to be strong content.
Which is good. It has an advantage because if Facebook, people go to a Facebook page, oh, you got only 200 followers, oh, you're no good.
Exactly.
Here, if your content speaks itself, people look at the content, oh, it's very good. They assume that you have a lot of followers. They assume you have a lot of subscribers. Right?
Exactly.
And also, I think one thing is they show the views.
The views of the article.
But
That
then-
gives you like an indicator.
Yeah,
a
but
little
then once it's over, I think 10,000,
Yeah.
they just say 10,000 plus.
Plus.
They don't give you the exact number.
Yeah.
And also even
which
when,
is smart, which is very
yeah,
smart.
and even when subscribers leave a comment, you can filter them before you post it.
Yeah.
So it's totally up to you which kind of comment you want to post.
Yeah, and you can also see what gets engagement, what people like. And the interesting thing is when you log into your WeChat account, you can see the faces of people who subscribe. Like you can see those people.
Right.
It's actually like a little bit like a Facebook. They're very powerful. So that's some of the basics of WeChat marketing and how WeChat works. If you have any other questions, comment below. We can take those questions and make some future episodes. Make sure you subscribe, click the subscribe button, turn on notification, click on the bell, and give us a thumbs up. Any other questions that you might have, WeChat marketing, how to use WeChat to grow your business, or maybe you're already using WeChat and you have some strategies you want to share, comment below. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.